It's the Mustang Insider Show. Now, here's Chris Sylvester, the voice of the Mustangs.
All right, and we welcome you to one final edition, or so we think. I mean, barring a big run for Cal Poly baseball, which I think is certainly possible with the results of this season, we might have more of these talking Cal Poly baseball. But right now, the focus for the program is on the Big West Baseball Championship coming up here in Fullerton, California at Goodwin Field. Cal Poly's the 2 seed. They'll need 3 victories and no more than 1 loss to be the automatic qualifier this year and get to the NCAA postseason. Of course, we're hoping that even if they don't win the conference tournament coming up, that they've already shown in 37 wins throughout this regular season. Really not too many bad losses, too, when you look at the resume, that this team can be a part of the postseason regardless of the results this weekend. But no question, the results this weekend may have a lot to say about Cal Poly baseball's postseason chances. So as we close out our Mustang Insiders for the 24-25 school year. I mean, they all kind of come together now. Had to make sure that was right. We'd like to thank our friends at Dignity Health, French Hospital Medical Center, proud supporters you can trust. Learn more at French Hospital Medical Center, dignityhealth.org/French Hospital. We're going to talk to the gamer himself, Alejandro Garza. All right, his teammates and some of his coaches, and I guess some of the fan base now know this young man as Peanut. We know him as number 5, starting third baseman, led the Big West in hits this regular season and towards the top of a bunch of other statistical categories. Alejandro Garza is our guest. Appreciate you taking some time here, Peanut. You turned in another, nothing short of spectacular regular season. You were the Big West Freshman Field Player of the Year last year, and then you come on back. You had a little power with those 6 home runs this season, and you find a way to finish even higher in the batting average department. As you guys get ready for this Big West tournament in Fullerton, playing teams you've already faced this year, what's the confidence like among your group and just among yourself going into these must-win games?
Man, it's going to be the best baseball we're going to play all year, man. And this is what we started practicing in September for. This is why we come to campus. This is why we're here at Cal Poly to play games like this. So to go out there to Fullerton and play against the best teams in the Big West is going to be real fun, and we're looking forward to it. Ready to get out there and go and grind with the guys to go play the best teams in the Big West, man.
Yeah, there's a lot I want to talk about in regards to the upcoming tournament, this 2025 team, and everything involved with Cal Poly baseball. But I got to start with that nickname, Peanut. Where did that come from? At what age did they start calling you that? And how did that stick all the way into your sophomore season of college baseball?
Yeah, so, I mean, there's 2 stories to how I got the name Peanut. The first one is the real story, is when my mom was pregnant with me and my dad was they were always at the hospital looking at the ultrasound. I looked like a little peanut, man. Yeah, I was always going to be a small guy. I was always going to be a small baseball player. So I always had the name Peanut before I was even born. And then the other story is makes a little bit more sense, and kind of just what I tell people to, keep the conversation going is, I'm always the smallest guy on the team. So I've always gotten the name Peanut, but out of high school, I didn't really think it was going to get carried over to Cal Poly, but I'm glad it has, and it's been sticking to everybody. So, and I like it. It's been my name my whole life. So,
well, in these last 6 or 7 weeks, we've been able to say Peanut Power. I mean, it all kind of started with that home run you had against Hawaii in the series opener, and then you hit a big one to tie Santa Barbara on the road, and you just hit 3 this past weekend. You had one against Irvine too. So obviously we're seeing the improvements in the power for you, and I know that was something you probably wanted to focus in on in between freshman and sophomore season. But I want to go back even further than that, because you played at Highland High School in Bakersfield, and you played for your dad. So how long have you been around the game of baseball? And at what point, whether it was high school or before then, did you think, hey, I have a chance to be not only a Division I college baseball player, but a really good Division I college baseball player?
Yeah, so I mean, I started baseball when I was real young. I probably started when I was around 3 years old, playing against 5-year-olds, and then I started playing competitive baseball, travel baseball when I was around 5, playing with 8-year-olds. So, I mean, I've always played up my age groups and stuff like that, but at Highland High School, yeah, I did play for my dad. And even before Highland High School, I played for my dad as well. He was my travel ball coach, him and my uncle. And, yeah, I mean, when I was in about 8th grade into that, going into freshman year of high school, I was really undersized. I was probably around 4'10", 105 pounds in my freshman year of high school. So I didn't make the varsity team my freshman year. So, I mean, it was really, I had to really dig deep and work hard to get to where I'm at today. But looking forward into probably my junior year of high school was when I started going to a little bit more camps and stuff like that. But, no offers were coming at me in my high school. So I didn't get my first offer until my senior year of high school, and it was Cal Poly.
Wow.
So Cal Poly was my first and only offer. Coach Lee saw me play at a camp, and he really liked the way I played, and he looked into my numbers. And I went out to a camp and showed what I had in front of the coaching staff there. And yeah, man, it's been nothing shorter than what it has been, man. I love it here, and I'm glad I came here, man.
I think I speak for the entirety of Cal Poly's fan base when we say we're thankful to have you here, especially with you been able to do your first 2 seasons here. But take me through that recruiting process. Like, did you think that offer was coming your senior year of high school? Like, you have Cal State Bakersfield in your backyard. I know they don't have the type of baseball history. They don't have this thing either, Baggett Stadium to offer in the recruiting process, but I mean, you had one of the best series of your college career in front of some friends and family back home in Bakersfield a few weeks ago. Like, I have to imagine, guys in that Bakersfield dugout or fans of Bakersfield have to be wondering how they let you slip away.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get any sort of looks at from Cal State Bakersfield in high school. Nothing. I didn't receive any, text message, emails, or phone calls, or nothing like that. But for my recruiting process, I mean, like I said earlier, I've always been undersized, so not one part of my game stood out. Not my power tool, not my speed tool, strong arm, none of that stood out to college coaches. So when I hit my junior summer, going into my senior year, this was around the time where kids were committing like around sophomore, even freshman year of high school, and I was still a senior in high school, and I was not getting no offers, so. But like I said earlier, I ended up playing at a camp that Coach Lee saw me, and he gave me an offer. It was one of the last ones that he had for that year, and I'm so thankful that he gave it to me. And he talked to me and my family about it. We sat down, and this was going to be the best offer I was going to get. I was already at the end of the road. It was most likely going to be junior college ball for me, but it's just a blessing that Coach Lee gave me a scholarship, and yeah, I love it here, man. It's been sky's the limit.
Well, we like to hear that, man. We'd love you to stay here, and we'd love you to rep Cal Poly at the next level, like so many guys have, right? Going to the major leagues, and obviously Larry Lee's his only son, Brooks Lee, 2-time Big West Player of the Year, first-round pick. He's really impacting what the Minnesota Twins have done so far this season. How much has Larry Lee's just his coaching prowess and his wisdom, his knowledge helped you in your 2 years? Because I mean, I look at that guy as a hitting guru. I mean, not only just what he did with Brooks and helping him become a switch hitter and top 10 pick, but it seems like everybody on this team, and even a lot of guys on last year's team, just made really quick improvements in the batter's box. Tell me a little bit about what goes into hitting with a guy like Larry Lee and what type of knowledge and wisdom he shares with you guys.
Yeah, so like for me, when I came in, I was a real small guy. I was low line drive, and he kind of instilled to me to be that type of person. He told me, I'm not going to be a guy who's going to hit 10, 15 home runs in a year. I'm not going to have 60 RBIs in a season like that. So he instilled in me to be who I am. And he does that to everybody. And I think that's what makes him such a great hitting coach, and not just a hitting coach, but just an overall head coach in general. But just he's real straight up with you, I guess you could say. And he's just really straight to the point. So when I came in, he kind of took me in and was like, look, this is who you're going to be. This is how you're going to help us win. So you got to stay in that confine. And once you start coming out of it, then we'll put you back into it. But what helps you is what, what we recruited you as. And that's going to be a guy who's going to get on base, who's going to play real solid defense, who's going to help the team win. So I'm always staying just like that. Cause I mean, this guy, he took a chance on me, and I don't want him to take it away or, something like that, so, but no, man, Coach Lee, he's one of the best coaches I've had, man. He's just real straight up with you. And that's how I like it as a coach. I've had my dad as my coach my whole life, and he's been straight up with me his whole life. So, I mean, having a coach like Coach Lee is awesome, man. It's awesome.
Now, obviously, you've batted third much of the season this year, and we mentioned the added power numbers. What's Coach Lee said about those, man? Because I think I look back at the replay. I think it was your home run in the last game on Saturday. He was just kind of like leaning up against the dugout, waiting for you to get to third base before he gave you that high five. So is that something you guys have both been pleasantly surprised by, or did you kind of see that coming heading into this season? Like, hey, I might be able to go deep a few times.
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, he recruited me as the guy who's going to get on base and help the team win in that aspect. But after last year, when we have our exit meetings, he told me, like, look, like, in order for you to improve your game, you did really well last year, but in order for you to improve your game and help us this year, it's going to be added strength. It's going to be in the weight room, putting on weight. And I put on a good amount of weight over summer. So he said, not only is that going to help you, physically, but also mentally also, because, baseball is a real mental game. So once you have that mentality of, being stronger and stuff like that, and knowing that you can do a little bit more than what you had a year ago, I think it just gives you a little bit more confidence in the box. And then, feeling confidence is the main thing, but just him telling me to put on extra strength is going to help me as a player. It has, and it's not only helped me, but it's also helped the team too, winning ball games.
I'm happy you said that because it's very apparent how much confidence you play with. But you also play with a level of swagger, right? It's the chains, it's your whole get up, right? I mean, look good, play good. Where does that come from? Like, who were some of the guys you idolized growing up, maybe in the major leagues or maybe in your circle that you tried to kind of emulate your game after?
Yeah, so I mean, my dad's been my coach my whole life, and he's always told me if I'm going to do that sort of stuff, you got to back it up. You can't just put that stuff on and, not play to as much as the capability you can play to. So that's what he's instilled in me. So I know that if I'm going to put this stuff on, if I want to wear all this kind of stuff, I got to go out there and play hard. But to answer your question, who I idolized, it had to be Robinson Cano. That's been my favorite player my whole life.
Wow.
So that was my favorite player when he was with the Yankees. And at that time, it was, you can't really wear that much jewelry and all the different colors and stuff. But I followed him throughout his whole career when he went with the Mariners and the Padres. And little by little, he started adding more stuff. And that's who I wanted to be as a kid. So a person like that, and I looked up to, and that guy had a lot of swagger. He was a solid guy, man. But I would say that's the main guy that I looked up to.
No sweeter left-handed swing in Robbie Cano's era than himself. I mean, obviously you got, Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, I think, are two of the best to ever do it from the left-hand side of the plate in terms of aesthetically pleasing swings, but I think Robbie Cano is right up there as well. Now, you spent the bulk of this season at third base. We're going to get to this time next year, and you're going to have to start thinking about the aspect of hopefully playing professionally, right? I mean, that's what this Cal Poly program does. I mean, it gets guys to the next level. I mean, look at your teammates from last year. Jacob Wright, 4th-round pick. Ryan Stafford, 6th-round pick. Steele was taken in the draft. Stephen Brooks was taken in the draft. So that Cal Poly can get you to Major League Baseball. Where do you see yourself playing professionally if you get that opportunity?
I mean, anywhere, man. Like, when I came here to Cal Poly, I came in as a middle infielder. So that's all I really knew how to play. So when I made that transition to third base, now that's just another tool in my toolbox now. So now when, like I said, we get people in and out of this university. So I'm in a good spot, man. I'm playing for the right coaches, playing for the right university, the right staff. So I mean, looking forward to next year, I mean, the draft is obviously my goal. But winning baseball games and, just having the time that I have in college, you're only going to have these years in college for, 3-4 years of your life. And how fun would it be to go out there and win another season with 35 wins, 37 wins, 38 wins, win a NCAA regional, win a super regional, win a College World Series.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I feel like I'm in a great place with great people. And yeah, man, I love it here.
You talk about being an undersized guy yourself, and I look to the left of you most games now, and you've got a stud at shortstop in Nate Castellon, who kind of reminds me a lot of the year you put together last season. Like, we're recording this on Monday night, week of the Big West tournament. I don't know when the awards are getting handed out. I'd imagine the next couple of days, but he's got to be the Big West Freshman of the Year. I mean, the numbers he put up are just uncanny, especially with some of the games he's had in conference play. Have you found yourself taking over a little bit more of a leadership role with some freshmen that have come through the infield, like him and Jake Downing? Like, how have you been able to pass down the little knowledge that you might have just having one more year under your belt than some of these guys? And do you, I mean, it's one thing for us to see it from the press box or watching games on ESPN Plus or whatever the case might be, but do you see some similarities in your game to your fellow left side of the infield shortstop Castellon's game?
I believe so. That guy, he gives 100%, man, 100% practice and games, and that's how I play. That's how I grew up playing the game, and that's what Coach Lee and all the coaches have told me what they love about me. And that guy, Nate Castellon, he's the same way. He goes out there, gives it 110%, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to win a ball game. If that's putting down a bunt, if that's doing a hit run, if that's sacrificing his at bat to get that run home, playing solid defense. That guy, he's a gamer, man. He's a gamer. For a leadership role, I mean, I'm only a year or so older than them, So I mean, I'm not really like how Joe York was for me. I'm not like that to them, but I think just them seeing me and talking to me like how it was last year, and then especially in the fall, it was mostly like this is what it's going to take to get to where you want to be at as an individual. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to help the team win when it comes February and March and when the season gets going.
We're now in late May, and it's all postseason from here. It's conference tournament, and then hopefully regional, super regional, so on and so forth for you guys. Take me through the ebbs and flows of what this season has been, because it was a really disappointing opening weekend. Obviously, you could have had that season opening game at UCLA, but they get some early leads Saturday, Sunday. Then you guys, show some resilience. You come back on that Monday at LMU. You show, no signs of letting that UCLA series bleed in to the future. I thought you guys could have taken 2 or 3 easily at A&M, but you wind up, having that ninth inning comeback and taking the series finale there. And then from then on, for the most part, you guys have been, one of the best teams in college baseball. As you reflect on the regular season that was, take me through just the journey that it's been and where you've seen this team grow the most, I guess, as you get into this win or go home portion of the schedule.
Yeah. I mean, to answer your question, I think what has been awesome as a player to be a part of this is just to see how much we really came together after being beat, that first weekend. Because, we got beat that first weekend and, everyone's, excited to play and all that kind of stuff. And then once you get beat, like how we got beat at UCLA, it was kind of like, all right, this could either go, really bad or this can only go up, So that's how we saw it as a team. And for us to really come together in A&M and really pull off that ninth inning comeback win, it was just like, man, this is what we got. Now let's go roll with it for the rest of the year, because we already been beat really bad. So the only way is to go up. And, we just got closer as the season went on. And, yeah, we shot up and went 12-0 in Big West. And that was awesome, man, just winning games, 1-run games and then winning 10-run games that we were winning. And, yeah, man, it's fun to be a part of, to know how we started and then now how we're going. And we're a completely different team than we were game 1 at UCLA.
This is a club that's shown a lot of resilience because you guys are like any college baseball team. I mean, outside of just a few that have these just magical seasons where they only lose, a single-digit number of games. I mean, you guys came out of that tough stretch early in the year, and then you had that, tough couple of weekends where you went to Santa Barbara and you felt like you could have gotten 2 of 3 there, but they won that series, and then Irvine comes here, and you feel like you could have gotten at least 2 of those games, and they win that series. But there you are on Saturday, and if a result elsewhere is different, you guys are co-champs of the Big West Conference along with UC Irvine. I'm sure there's games you look back at and you think, man, if we just flipped a couple of those L's into W's, we'd be having a different conversation. But the reality is you guys are the 2 seed, and you swept Cal State Fullerton when they were here earlier this year, and they probably feel like they're a much better club than when you saw them back in early March. But you guys probably feel that way about yourself as well. What's it going to be like going into this tournament style of experience, because the Big West didn't have one last year. They haven't had one since 1998. Were you even born in 1998? Like before Alejandro Garza, back when they called you Peanut the first time. I mean, that's the last time they had a Big West conference tournament championship. So what are you guys expecting, like challenge wise, just when it comes to maybe playing a couple games in a day or seeing these teams that you've already seen 3-4 times this season?
Yeah, so the way we're seeing it as a team is, like how you said, it's going to be new to all of us. We haven't played tournament ball. We didn't have a tournament last year or the year before that. This is the first time it's been. So it's not only going to be new to us, but it's going to be new to the other teams as well. Those teams that didn't have a chance to play in a conference tournament like that. So as a team, we're seeing it as we need to win every pitch. We need to be locked in every single pitch, because that one pitch you take off, could be the difference of us winning or losing. And then that loss could defeat us going into a regional. So we're seeing it as winning every single pitch. If you win every single pitch, you have the best chance to win in every inning. And then if you win enough innings, you obviously win the game. So we're just trying to symbolize it into going into this tournament. But like I said, it's going to be new to everybody. But I think overall, it's just playing the game of baseball at the end of the day. So we're going to go out there and play our brand of baseball and win every single pitch, or as many pitches as we can. So yeah, that's how we're going to go about it in Fullerton.
You guys are obviously battle tested. I mean, really tough non-conference schedule. We know how good the Big West is. Should you guys, for whatever reason, come up short this weekend, why do you feel like Cal Poly is deserving of a spot in a regional?
Man, I think you just have to look at the wins that we've had against those kind of teams. I mean, obviously we haven't, taken the series against them, but just those come from behind wins that we had against then number 1 Texas A&M. And we beat them, 3-2 at their place when we came back in the 9th inning. Same thing when Oregon State came down to us. We beat them in a walk-off home run by Jack. So I think just seeing wins like that, and then seeing how we started the Big West, we were up 12-0 before we went and lost our first game of the season. So I think just as the committee, seeing us as a mid-major program here on the West Coast, I mean, just seeing how many wins we've had and the how we won those games, I think it should be enough for us to get in. I mean, Cal Poly hasn't been in for a while, and we would love to be that team to get us back onto that line to get us onto the regionals.
Yeah, no question. I think you guys are 100% deserving. It's the RPI metric is very strange, and Larry's talked about it for years, and he's had some really good teams here. You think about the team with Brooks Lee and Drew Thorpe, how quick those guys got to the big leagues, and they won 37 games, but they didn't have the benefit of a conference tournament, and it's great that you guys do. Really looking forward to it. I got to ask you before I let you go, Robbie Cano was your favorite growing up. Is there an active Major League Baseball player that you've enjoyed watching in recent years that you kind of think, hey, I kind of want to swing it like him?
Man, guy I really looked up to, especially coming through high school and stuff like that. I even modeled my swing after him a little bit in high school, and I'd be struggling, is Ronald Acuna Jr.
Okay.
I love the way he plays, and just like now in Major League Baseball, you have a lot of guys that are, playing half, that are, not going as hard. And that guy, that season, he hit 50 home runs and 70 stolen bases. Like that's just, unheard of, and he's also doing it with swag.
Yes, he is.
So he's a lot of swag, so, I mean, that guy, as of now, a current player, that's one guy who I like watching play, and just knowing that outside of his injuries, when he's, healthy, he goes 100%, even at the major league level. And that's something that I could see myself doing. I would love to see myself do.
Well, Alejandro, we're confident you're going to get there if you keep on doing what you're doing. I mean, you've gotten better seemingly with every single game here in your time at Cal Poly. We really appreciate you taking some time. Safe travels down south, and good luck down there, man. We're really looking forward to watching you guys play in some postseason baseball, hopefully for the next few weeks at the very least.
100%, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. It's been a pleasure having me on here, Chris.
Thanks, Peanut. We'll talk to you soon, man. Have a good summer out in the Cape.
I appreciate it, man. We'll be talking soon.
Yes, sir.
This has been the Mustang Insider Show. The preceding has been a Learfield's presentation on the Cal Poly Sports Network.